Hi, greetings. It's me, Dr. Paul Gerhardt, and today I want to talk to you about employee benefits. Now, there are lots of different types of benefits out there, and the bottom line, if you're an employer, you want to make sure that you're attracting and maintaining the most talented people possible. And of course, if you are a union employee, you need to make sure that you're choosing an organization that has benefits that you could live with, and then be able to understand how to negotiate benefits if you think you can do better. One challenge that I always want to put out there is thinking win-win. You know, sometimes unions often seem to misunderstand the fact that organizations also need to be profitable, and in order to be profitable, they need to make sure that they've got the proper expenses in the right places and the right revenues in the right places. And so unions and management need to work together to make sure that things are reasonable. Of course, on the other side, employees always have choices. So if an organization wants to lose an employee, they should make sure that their benefits are not as good as similar organizations that have similar types of jobs, i.e. their competition. So, unless you want to make your competition stronger, I highly suggest that you as a manager make sure that at least the benefits that you have to offer are comparable to what your competition has to bring, because that's a win-win situation. And then we could go into the argument that we're the low-cost providers, so we don't expect to have long-term employees, and this is just a stepping stone for our employees. And we see that too. And whatever your model is, it's important to make sure that we are doing things that help create win-win situations for stakeholders and managers and leaders at all levels. And that's not always easy to do, right? So we're talking about employee benefits in this video. We're talking about required benefits, negotiated benefits, income maintenance plans, health care, pay for time not worked, premium pay, employee services, public sector benefit. Anyway, let's go on and go right into required benefits. What's required? Well, federal state unemployment insurance, first of all. Unemployment insurance is a program that's designed to provide compensation to those employees who have been laid off from all employment. And Social Security is also required, and this is a system supported by equal contributions from employer and employees that provide retirement income, survivor benefits, and medical benefits. And again, another required benefit is state workers' compensation. And so with that, it is a program designed to provide employees with assured payment for medical expenses or lost income due to injury on the job. So, what's required again is Social Security, unemployment insurance, and workers' compensation. And if your organization is union, you negotiate other types of benefits, like income maintenance benefit plans. Those are pensions, wage employment guarantees, supplemental employment benefit, SUB plans, guaranteed income streams, GIS, severance pay, death and disability, health care. Another negotiated benefit, that's health insurance, dental, optical, prescription drugs, alcohol, drug treatment, wellness programs, employee assistance program, otherwise known as EAP, and pay for time not worked, like paid holidays, paid vacations, sick leaves, and other types of paid leaves. Premium pay is something that is also negotiated. That's reporting pay, shift differential, call-in pay, on-call pay, bilingual skills pay, travel pay, employee services is another issue, flexible benefit plans, child care, credit union, and education assistance. So let's talk about pension plans. The pension is guarantees a monthly payment to a former employee during retirement as being structured. And traditional pension plans, there's a defined benefit plan, and which is upon employment, a provider provides stipulated fixed amount of income, and defined contribution plan. The employer makes specified contribution. Income. Maintenance plans also include like tax-deferred 401k accounts, and these typically provide equal contributions by the employer and employee. Cash balance plans. This is where the employer contributes a fixed percentage of a worker's income to a hypothetical account and guarantees that it will grow at a fixed rate. And an ESOP. An alternative retirement plan. It's an employee stock ownership plan, ESOP, that provides unique alternative to a company in financial trouble or in need of improved employee relations. An ESOP can act as a kind of retirement benefit plan. All right, let's talk about the ERISA, or the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. And it is the first comprehensive reform law passed to protect employee pensions. So when you hear ERISA of 1974, you know it has to do with pensions. And it places strict regulations on private pension plans and protects the vested rights of employees' beneficiaries. Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, or the PBGC, was established within the Department of Labor, and it encourages voluntary employee pension continuance when changing employment by providing portability. So, some issues in some pension negotiations to consider. Vesting, for instance. This is conveying of employees' non-forfeitable rights to share in a pension fund. A qualified plan, it meets standards set by the Internal Revenue Service. Contributory plans, this is the employee and employer, this is when they share costs in the plan. And then the age or amount of service determines eligibility of those benefits. Also, disqualifications need to be understood, and the ERISA allows a pension plan to suspend pension payments of a retired member who re-enters the job market. So buyout is something else that needs to be determined, and these are generally volunteer programs. So with a benefit formula used to calculate benefits for each employees looks something like this. Benefit dollars equals years of service times base pay times percentage. And that percentage is a fixed figure that is seldom negotiated. And base pay, the definition is truly critical during negotiation, and it should be a negotiation issue. So, wage employment guarantees, or WEGS, these ensure a minimum amount of work or compensation during a certain period of time for the life of the contract. And then there's an escape clause. And of course, we're talking about income maintenance plans. And an escape clause is management's ability to suspend the guarantee for production delays beyond its control. So sometimes things happen. Supplemental employment benefits, or SUB. These provide additional income to supplement state employment benefits to laid-off employees. Employees receive a percentage of their gross pay for a maximum number of weeks when unemployed. And then management typically opposes subs because it already contributes to the state employment fund. Let's talk about severance pay. This is a lump sum or a dispersal of payments given to employees who are permanently separated from the company through no fault of their own. And of course, these are things that can be negotiated. Just like death and disability plans, they're negotiated benefit to supplement Social Security plans. Company commonly bears the entire premium cost. And employers resist this because their contributions to Social Security, which already provides similar benefits. All right, let's talk about health care. Health care, big topic these days, right? Things that can be negotiated are benefit coverage, deductibles, monthly premiums, copay, and then the choice of health care provider is always important too. There are different types of health insurance plans, like a preferred provider organization or a PPO, health maintenance organization, an HMO, or a traditional fee-for-service indemnity. Healthcare cost containment. These are controlling healthcare costs and increases a major negotiation issue. It's the single most important healthcare issue. What portion of the total cost the employer will pay and what portion will the employee pay. You've probably heard about these things over and over again. It's important, right? As we get older, we're going to need more health care, and it's a wage issue. If our wages aren't going up, what are the costs being there? The longer you stay in an organization, does it get more expensive to you because the poorer you get with the cost of living and the cost of healthcare costs? That's the big question that is often settled through the negotiated process. So, employee cost sharing can be done in 3 different methods: co-payments, deductibles, and monthly premium contributions. So, let's talk about behavior modification programs. These include cash incentives, health reimbursement accounts, domestic partners, VEBA, wellness programs, employee assistance programs, EAP. So let's talk about these. The Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act, or COBRA, these provide for the continuation of medical, dental insurance for employees, spouses, and dependents in the event of an employee's death, termination, divorce, or other loss of health care eligibility. Pay for time not worked is something else. People are always negotiating holidays, jury duty, civic duty, maternity, paternity, family leave, blood donation, sabbatical leave, personal leave, military duty, grievance and contract negotiations, wellness leave, sick leave, marriage leave, funeral leave, lunch rest, and period breaks. As many of you know, these are all subject to the organization. Probably the more of these types of leave that are paid for, the more people may be interested in working for your organization. So as a human resource professional, you may want to help employers understand the value of giving more benefits to making your organization more attractive. So holiday pay is a big one, and they're found with very specific language in most collective bargaining agreements. Provisions in labor agreements really should specify eligibility, holiday rate, which days are paid holidays, and holidays failing on non-work days. So very clear language. Clear language about vacations also needs to be in those negotiated contracts. There are 4 types of vacation plans: a graduated plan, a uniform vacation plan, ratio to work plan, funded plan, and agreements should specify eligibility requirements and the duration of family leave. Sick leave is a big one too. How much time is allowed off of an employee because of an illness or an injury? And what kind of provisions are there with employment when the employee is able to report back to work? Paid leaves of absence are another topic. Most agreements provide leave for military service, education, union businesses, and personal reasons. What is your organization going to do? What do they do? Should these things be clarified more? Agreements should specify eligibility requirements, payments received, and scheduling considerations. So, with premium pay, wages that exceed the standard or regular pay rate given for an employee for work performed under desirable circumstances. Pyramiding of overtime can be done, and this is the payment of overtime on top of another overtime rate that occurs if the same hours of work qualify for both daily and weekly overtime payment, and most contracts prohibit this type of payment. So something else to be considered or negotiated. Shift differentials too. This is additional hourly rates of pay provided to employees who work the least desirable hours. Other forms of shift differentials include reporting pay, call-in pay, and on-call or standby pay. Bilingual skills very often employees are paid a premium for performing a job that requires a second language, and more unions are pressing for a bilingual premium if skill is required for a substantial percentage of the job related to communication. Travel pay is another thing. This is premium pay made for excess travel. Employee services. Most labor agreements provide for a few employee services, including sponsoring social and recreational activities, subsidized food services, company-sponsored credit unions, free or subsidized home computers, legal services, elder care, flexible benefit plans. These are negotiated in lieu of fixed benefits. Employees can choose the benefits that fit their needs among a designated list and within a price established by the contract. And it includes medical insurance, vacation, pensions, and life insurance. There are, of course, advantages of flexible plans. They control benefit costs. They improve benefits offered. They attract and retain employees, and they avoid duplicate coverage. So child care is a big consideration these days. We have different generations in the workplace at this time, and it's not a mandatory thing, but it is subjective to collective bargaining. It's something that may help make your organization more attractive as an employer. So as an employer, it has a greater ability to attract and retain good employees. If kids are in good child care, there's going to be less employee absenteeism, lower job turnover, because not all companies have this kind of service provided, and improved employee morale could be a benefit. Some employers provide an in-house child care center or allow for financial assistance to be paid for child care. These days, with baby boomers getting older, or if you're a baby boomer and you still have a parent around who is a traditional, elder care programs may be something that your organization does or could do in a negotiated contract, and insistence for employees who must care for older relatives not able to fully care for themselves. Unions increasingly are interested in negotiating these things, and some of the programs include legal retirement and estate planning, a geriatric evaluation, and long-term care insurance. Credit unions also. Employer initiates payroll deductions in the process, and unions enroll members to invest funds and administer the program. Some other public sector benefit issues that come up is the public employers provide many employment benefits similar to those in the private sector. In public employers, income maintenance plans only include pension and death and disability plans. They do not offer guarantees, subs, guaranteed income stream plans, and severance pay, and offer medical plans and premium pay provisions similar to the private sector. Finally, there's a difference between public and private sectors with respect to the prevalence of defined benefit plans. So every contract is different. Some things can be negotiated and some things can't. But the bottom line comes down to, no matter which side of the table that you're sitting on, employers ultimately want to be able to attract and maintain the best qualified employees and the talent, and employees are always looking for other options. So if they want to stay with the organization, perhaps bargaining a contract that includes specified benefits will help keep the organization strong and healthy and keep employees happy. Anyway, there's my 20 minutes on employee benefits from a labor relations perspective. I hope that you've enjoyed the video and have taken away something that you can use. I hope that you have a great day, because only you get to choose how you feel about it. I'm Dr. Paul.